5 years. That's how long Louisa hid her true identity, waiting to see if her husband loved her for who she was, not what she came from. But tonight, inside the most expensive restaurant in Manhattan, the test is over. Tonight, Lucas Sterling didn't just forget their anniversary. He turned it into a public spectator sport to humiliate her. He thinks he's discarding a broken, poor waitress. He has no idea he's about to declare war on the sole heiress of the Thorne dynasty. When the doors open and the world stops, Lucas will realize that the only thing more expensive than the dinner bill is his mistake. The rain in New York City didn't wash things clean. It just made the grime slicker. Louisa Vance stood outside the Obsidian Room, a restaurant so exclusive that its reservation list was shorter than the menu. She smoothed the fabric of her dress. It was a soft blue purchased off the rack at Macy's 3 years ago. She had hemmed it herself, stitching love into the fraying seams, trying to make it look like something that belonged in Lucas's world. Through the tinted glass she could see him. Lucas Sterling, her husband of 5 years. He looked every inch the rising tech mogul. His suit was a bespoke charcoal cut from Savile Row, fitting his broad shoulders perfectly. On his wrist sat a Patek Philippe Nautilus, a watch that cost more than the house Louisa grew up in. He wasn't alone. Sitting across from him wasn't Louisa. It was his mother Monica, and a woman Louisa didn't recognize, a stunning brunette draped in vintage Chanel, laughing at something Lucas had said. Louisa checked her phone. 7:00 p.m. Anniversary dinner. She took a breath that rattled in her chest, pushed open the heavy oak doors, and stepped inside. The warmth of the restaurant hit her, smelling of truffle oil, aged mahogany, and old money. The maitre d', a man named Claude, who usually sneered at her, looked at her tonight with something worse than disdain-pity. "Mrs. Sterling," Claude murmured, "your party is waiting." Louisa walked toward the table. The sound of her heels on the marble floor felt deafening, yet Lucas didn't look up. He was typing furiously on his iPhone, his brow furrowed. "Happy anniversary, Lucas," Louisa said softly, her hand resting on the back of the empty fourth chair. Lucas stopped typing. He didn't smile. He didn't stand up to pull out her chair. He simply glanced at her dress, his eyes narrowing with irritation. "You're late," he said, his voice flat. "I took the subway. The cab line was—" "The subway," Monica interjected, taking a sip of her Pinot Noir. She looked at Louisa as if she were a stain on the tablecloth. "Lucas, I told you. You can take the girl out of the trailer park, but you can't take the subway token out of the girl. It smells like damp wool in here now." The brunette giggled, covering her mouth with a manicured hand. "Sit down, Louisa," Lucas commanded, gesturing vaguely. "We have guests. This is Chloe Vanderhoven. Her father owns the hedge fund that's looking into acquiring Sterling Tech." Louisa froze. "Guests, Lucas, it's our 5th anniversary. You promised we'd have one night. Just us." Lucas finally looked at her, really looked at her, and his expression was one of exhausted boredom. "Business doesn't stop for sentimentality, Louisa. Besides, Chloe is here to help us celebrate, or rather help me celebrate the next phase." Louisa sat. She felt small. The table was cluttered with appetizers she hadn't ordered: oysters, Rockefeller Wagyu beef sliders, caviar service. "I got you something," Louisa whispered, reaching into her worn handbag. She pulled out a small rectangular box wrapped in brown paper. It wasn't a Rolex. It wasn't keys to a Bentley. It was a leather-bound journal. Inside, for the past year, she had written down one reason she loved him every single day. 365 reasons. It had taken her hours of emotional labor. Lucas stared at the brown paper package on the white tablecloth. It looked like trash. "Open it," she urged gently. Lucas sighed, picking it up with 2 fingers as if it were contaminated. He tore the paper. He flipped open the journal, read the first line, and let out a short, cruel laugh. "Reason 1. I love how you look when you're sleeping because the worry leaves your face." Lucas read it aloud, mocking her sincerity. He tossed the book onto the table where it slid and knocked over a salt shaker. Jesus, Louisa. I'm trying to close a $50 million merger, and you're giving me a high school diary. It's heartfelt. Louisa's voice trembled. It's cheap. Chloe chimed in, smiling sweetly. Lucas needs a partner who understands the magnitude of his world, sweetie. Not someone who scrapbooks. Monica leaned forward, her diamond necklace catching the candlelight. Louisa, dear, let's be realistic. Look around you. Look at the people in this room. That man over there is the CEO of Goldman Sachs. The woman by the window is a senator. And then, there's you, wearing a dress that's pilling at the waist. I work hard, Louisa defended herself, tears pricking her eyes. I manage the house. I support Lucas. You hold him back. Lucas snapped, his voice rising enough for the neighboring tables to turn. The humiliation burned Louisa's cheeks.